those of you who love black licorice or anise, or some people say anise, Fennel will give you that remembrance. My grandma's favorite candy was anise candy or black licorice. That was her favorite of all favorites. As a real treat, she would have some real good old-fashioned black licorice made with molasses and anise, and it's very different than the kinds made today with sugar. So when I smelled this Fennel, it brought me back to, oh my gosh, brought me back to my childhood, like, grandma. It's very, very, very nice. So let's talk about some of the constituents in Fennel. Trans-anethol, okay, that's coming in at 60 to 80%. We've got fencone and linalool coming in at 12 to 16%. We have, again, alpha-pinene. Now, remember our pinenes? Pinenes also have to do with the brain, the midbrain, so to speak, and that's at 3 to 5%. And now, this is the cool part about Fennel. It has methylshavicol in it from 2 to 5%. Why is that so important? Because basil also has methylshavicol in it. And that is a wonderful constituent that you may choose to look up and learn more about. Its powerful, tremendous benefits. So, how do we use Fennel? I love to put Fennel on the tummy. Definitely, I rub it on the tummy. I can rub it on the bottom of the feet. And my horses, I will have no challenge rubbing it on their tummy as well. It's just a really nice one or two drops for myself. I'll just rub it on my tummy. For my horses, I'll probably do more. I'll do at least 5, and I'll rub it on their, I have large horses, so I rub it on their tummy as well. It's a great oil to support us in just our overall health and well-being. For those of you ladies who are, let's just say, pushing over the moving towards the 5 decade mark or higher, Fennel is going to be a really nice oil that you may want to consider using. Just put a few drops in your hand, rub it on your tummy, and just notice how good you feel. It'll be a very nice, positive change all the way around. Another thing that you can do is take a drop, and you can put it right on that little indent in the back of your skull underneath your occipital bone. It's called the locus coeruleus point, right back in there. That's another really nice thing that you can do. And you can diffuse it in the air, of course. My mother was born in the Depression time, and so my grandma worked a lot of jobs just to keep things moving forward. So did my grandpa, and so that they didn't lose, like so many families lost in the Great Depression in the United States. My grandma would often work 6 a.m. to midnight or later, 7 days a week. She always went to church, though, every Sunday. But then after that, she'd volunteer at church, be part of Ladies' Aid, do the potlucks. They were farmers as well. So there's a lot of work to be done. Always, always, always. And my grandma also worked outside the home as well. Owned dress shops. She was an entrepreneur way before women were ever considered to be entrepreneurs way back then. So as a result of that, you can imagine what happened to adrenals, okay, to her adrenal glands, very fatigued. So as a result, when I asked Grandma, I said, Grandma, why do you like black licorice? She goes, well, in addition to the taste, Cherie? I go, yes, and I was very little. She said, because I don't get so tired when I chew on some black licorice. So this Fennel oil has very similar constituents in, and that anise smell, oh, it's delightful. And so I'm going to encourage you to absolutely give this Fennel oil a try. I think you'll like it a lot.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel.
Hi, I'm Cherie Ross, and we are going to talk about cinnamon bark essential oil. So there's 2 different labels that Young Living has per our government regulations. There's the regular cinnamon colored label, and then of course there's the white label. And the white label means for internal use, and the colored labels mean for topical and aromatic. But can I tell you a secret? It's the exact same thing inside. Our government regulations just make us label them a little different. So following this short little brief introduction, you're going to see and learn a whole lot about cinnamon bark essential oil. There's many oils called cinnamon, but it's actually cinnamon leaf. And being that Young Living is truly one of the only regulated companies, what happens is that many companies will say cinnamon bark, but inside they really have cinnamon leaf. And as a result of that, you have an inferior oil that still smells a lot like cinnamon, but it does not have near the potency that the traditional cinnamon bark essential oil does. And Young Living has one of the most powerful cinnamon bark essential oils because of where we get it from. And because literally it is in a very pristine area where there is no pollution anywhere near for miles and miles. And cinnamon bark is an exceedingly hot oil. I would never diffuse cinnamon bark by itself because it's so hot on the olfactory bulb and the olfactory nerve. You can mix it with other oils, absolutely, but do like a 1 to 20 drops, so to speak. Just a little bit of cinnamon bark oil in your mix because it is so potent, especially for people who are sensitive. Because it has quite a bit of powerful constituents in it, which you're going to learn in a little bit, you really are wanting to be very respectful of not only your olfactory nerve, but everybody else around you, including your animal's olfactory nerves. And so that's why I say don't diffuse cinnamon bark by itself. When you apply it topically, it is very, very, very hot. Hence the song, hot, 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 okay? Depicts it beautifully. So as a result of that, I would not put it on the face. I wouldn't put it anywhere where the skin is really tender without diluting it down. With one of your favorite carrier oils, which could be V6, coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, almond oil, pick your oils. And then you can dilute it down. If you do put it on straight away and you're one of those really resilient people, and you're fine, but then down the road it gets a little hot, again, don't put water on it. Just put it right on the carrier oil or the base oil right on top, and you'll notice the heat will cool down from overstimulation of the cells immediately. So enjoy the next video. You're going to learn a whole lot of what this mighty superhero, because cinnamon bark truly is one of our superheroes of oils. There isn't a whole lot. Truly, there is not a whole lot that cinnamon bark can't handle. It is exceedingly fast, like really fast, but it's big and mighty like the Hulk, and it's exceedingly intelligent, okay? Very, very, very intelligent. And so that oil works with us in ways that science is a bit confounded. And so with that, enjoy the next video and enjoy Young Living cinnamon bark. Hi. Hey, good looking. What you got cooking? How about cooking something up tonight? How about some new recipes with our cinnamon vitality essential oil? So we're going to be creating squash. We're going to be creating some wonderful baked apples and some other things like pumpkin bread, banana bread that we've already done, pumpkin pie, and some wonderful cider. So let's get started right away. Why are we talking about the cinnamon vitality oil? Well, because the constituents in it are very powerful and very potent. There's cinnamaldehyde in it at 40 to 50%. There's eugenol in it, which is 20 to 30%. There's even beta-caryophyllene in it, 3 to 8%, and linalool at 3 to 7%. Now, those are the constituents for you science geeks like me that really want to know what's in it and why is it so potent. And why did Young Living put it in our Thieves mouthwash? Why did they put it in the Thieves oil? Why did they put it in the Inner Defense? Why did they put it in the Thieves toothpaste? And why did they put it in the Thieves throat lozenges and cough drops, as well as all the other Thieves products? Cinnamon bark actually, is one of the most potent and powerful essential oils. The constituents in it are second to none in its strength and its power. It's very mighty. Even though it's a little bottle, it's very, very mighty. Being that we have vitality today, we're going to talk about cooking with it. So we're going to dive right in right now. And what I'm going to be doing is, I hope you saw all these vegetables in the beginning. Well, those are from our wonderful member, Lynn Cox, who has this gigantic organic garden. and she gifted us with all these spectacular vegetables. And so we're going to be taking a squash. Squash is one of my favorite foods for fall. And actually, I'm going to be trying to cut it. Yes! We did it! Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scoop out some of the seeds. And you don't have to. You can actually cook it if you'd like with the seeds in, like we did last month with the spaghetti squash. We actually did it the opposite direction. We cooked it with the seeds in. Some people really like to bake the seeds and sprinkle a little bit of oils on them, kind of roast them that way. And they're very good to eat as a snack as well. If you bake it whole and then take the seeds out after, it's obviously easier, but it takes longer to bake. So you need that time to get that done. All right, we've got them done. Seeds out. Now, you can line, I put a little foil in so it doesn't stick. You can use parchment paper as well. You can then coat the bottom. If you're vegan, you want to use coconut oil or avocado oil. If you're not vegan, just some butter down there and be great to go. So these are going to go in the oven for about 1 hour. So while that's baking, how about we do some apples? And the recipe for these are actually down below in this email a little bit further. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the tops off about like so. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little apple core and take the core out. And the core's still in. So now what I'm doing is just I'm dicing these apples, the tops, and then I'll be getting the middle taken care of as well. And I'll just be chopping them up real fine. And this is going to go into filling the mixture. So we're going to have a filled up baked apple. I'm just going to hollow out a little bit of the apple here. I leave a really nice edge. You want to make sure that you don't get too close to the edge of the apple, because then you'll have a flat apple pancake in the oven once it bakes. It'll flatten out way too much if you don't leave enough on the side. So now what I'm going to do is just take an old-fashioned mashed potato masher. This actually, I think, was my grandma's. And I'm just going to mash this up a little bit to create a little bit of a mash. You can also use applesauce like the recipe says, but I'm actually just using the apple, part of the apple itself. And I'm going to add in a little bit of apple butter just for fun, because this also has Young Living Cinnamon Vitality Oil in it. So I'm going to add in a nice dollop of that. And then we're going to add our vanilla in. And then we're going to add in, our essential oils. So you see those on the recipe, 1 drop of each. And then 2 drops of ginger and 4 drops of lemon. There we go. And we'll mix all that up. Now I chose dark maple syrup, grade B. One of our other members actually has their own maple syrup from Wisconsin, and it is so delicious. And so I'm privileged enough to get that. So that's coming in here, and that's about, I believe, 2 tablespoons, if I'm not correct. So we'll do about 2 tablespoons here. There we go. That's going in. Okay. So now the next ingredients I like to add in. I like to add in dates, or I like to add in wolfberries. Those are kind of fun to add in. Of course, you can get the wolfberries from Young Living. And so what I like to do then is I'll throw those in, but we're going to do a little twist here. So I'm going to divide this recipe up just a little bit, because we've got some people who are not, they're really paleo, so they're not eating grains. So the recipe does call for rolled oats, but for those who are not eating grains, let's go to the chia seeds. So you've got some options. So I'm actually going to divide this in half, and we're going to do half of the rolled oats and half the chia seeds. So we'll do the rolled oats with the wolfberry, and we'll do the chia seeds with the dates. So here's the dates. Very good, actually. And then a little bit of the chia seeds. Now, chia seed, you don't quite need the full cup. Chia seeds, you need about, I'd say, 2 tablespoons. So I'll sprinkle those in. And we'll mix all that up. Now you will absolutely have some left over. So you can use that to make an apple crisp, an apple crumble. You can put it inside of croissants. You can do all sorts of delicious things with it. You could even put it inside, this is delicious actually, inside the squash. So we just might do that at the end. Now these will seep liquid. This is just the way it is. So because of that, I have foil down so we don't have a mess all over the pan. So I'm going to set the remainder aside for one of the squashes, half of the squash, and actually there we go, so that our people who cannot eat grains will be able to enjoy the squash, and those who can, they can enjoy the squash also. So now I'm going to put this in, follow up with the rolled oats, and I use steel cut, by the way, that's what I did. You can use quick rolled oats, you can use whatever you'd like. And then let's put in just a little bit of wolfberries. In case you see me looking down, George is down here hoping I drop something. That's funny. He's getting to be a big boy. He's not so much a puppy anymore. A few more of these. Mix it up. And in they'll go. In the oven they go. So it's been about an hour. I took our squash out, I flipped it over, and now we're going to put the rest of our apple and maple filling in. just because it's delicious. And Nick's filming today, and he had a little nibble. He snuck a little nibble while we were getting this all done. So Nick, how does it taste? There we go. Okay, so here we go. So remember, we have the grain-free with the chia seeds and the dates, and then we have the steel-cut rolled oats with the ningxia wolf berries. And they're just going in here. We're going to let those cook for just a couple more minutes. And you can either cover them in a lid or put a little bit of foil on to keep the moisture in so they don't dry out. And let's get to our apples. So we just pulled the squash out of the oven. We've got our baked apples out of the oven, and as you can see, they've kind of expanded a little bit. And we also made some wonderful pumpkin bread with our essential oils. Of course, this delicious pumpkin pie, and no sugar. We use the dark maple syrup and essential oils as well. And then, of course, we have what we call our happy juice, which we took some fresh pressed apple cider from a local orchard, warmed it up, put some oils in, which you'll see a recipe for down below. And I added some ningxia red to it. I just added some ningxia red because it just is plain, makes you happy. So you can do a mulled cider, add different things in if you'd like. It's absolutely very nutritious and delicious. So let's take this off now. And oh my goodness, it looks so good. It looks absolutely spectacular. So you're welcome to have some squash. What I'll do is I will scoop it out, mix it all up, and add some cinnamon bark essential oil, just a drop or two. If you're vegan, we're going to go with the coconut oil, adding that in. And if you are not vegan, then we're going to go with the butter. Okay? So this is our delicious squash that we made. And so we're going to take and we are going to actually dish up one of our baked apples. Now Nick is vegan, so Nick is getting this one to eat. We're leaving the whipped cream off. So this one is for Nick. And he's going to enjoy it. That's one of the perks of being the videographer. He gets to eat all the goodies. This, on the other hand, is our pumpkin pie. And what I did was I took cinnamon and orange vitality oil, put 1 drop of cinnamon in, and I put about maybe 5 to 7 drops of orange in a large bowl, whipped it up. And so, you can never have enough real whipped cream, especially with Young Living vitality oils in it.